Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of my updated Blu-ray collection. There's quite a lot here. I believe we go from F all the way to the end of L, and then after that, because hopefully this might be the same length as the last two have been. I don't know, I'll try and get through it as quick as I can, but the next one might be a bit longer because I want to finish it in the next one. I don't really want to do any more than 4. Because then I can move on to do another videos afterwards because I have got some ideas. So yeah, I'll just get on with it. Hope you enjoy. Right, so first off is Face Off. I watched this for the first time not so long ago, and it's one of those classic 90s Nicolas Cage action films, much like The Rock, Snake Eyes, which I've not seen, Con Air, and Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah, good film, and I do like John Travolta in this. I do like John Travolta in general, and I think this was really good performances from both of them. And yeah, it's just a really good cheesy action 90s film. And next up we have The Fighter, which is probably my favourite David O. Russell film, which I believe I did say in the last video. I think Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale are fantastic in this, specifically Christian Bale. I do believe he did win an Oscar for this, or at least he was nominated. No, yeah, and I believe Melissa Leo also won Best Supporting Actress as well, and she was really good in this as their mother. Also Amy Adams, who was good in this. Yeah, it's a really good film. I really do like boxing films. One of my favourite films, which should be in the next video, is a boxing film. So yeah, The Fighter, really enjoyed it. Finding the Way Back, which was definitely a surprise from last year, went under the radar a bit because this came out just as, well, in America, I believe it came out just as COVID started, so about a year ago. And then I think it came to us in about June on demand, and then came out on Blu-ray in early October. So I did manage to watch this around this time last year, and I did really enjoy it. I thought this is probably one of, if not Ben Affleck's best performance, so I definitely wanted to pick this up on Blu-ray because it is a great watch. Next up we have Finding Your Feet, which I went to the cinema to see with, I believe, both of my grandparents, each set, both my nan and my grandma, when it came out about 2 years ago because they wanted to watch it, and I have a good time with British films, and I like the cast for this, and it was entertaining enough. It was a feel-good film, as it says on the front. Yeah, it was a good watch, not too bad. Next up is an underrated film, and I was the only one in the cinema when I went to see this, and that is First Man. To me, I know I have only seen La La Land and this. I haven't seen Whiplash yet, but this, I think, for me, is a superior film over La La Land. I didn't like La La Land. I didn't dislike it, but I don't think it's as good as people say. It's far from a masterpiece. I don't think it's anything special. It's decent. I would watch it, but not something I would specifically choose to watch unless I was doing like a list or something. But yeah, this I just really enjoyed because obviously it's a true story, and we've not really seen a story about Neil Armstrong before, and I thought this was really good. The score was excellent, one of the best scores I have listened to, and obviously Ryan Gosling was fantastic in this, as he is in most of the things he does. So yeah, I did really enjoy First Man, so I picked that up on the cheap towards the end of last year. Next up, a rom-com I've not seen, and that is The 5-Year Engagement, which I picked up cheap in CX. It was probably one of my first pickups on Blu-ray because I only started collecting about a year and a half ago. So this was one of the first ones I got because it was about 50p to £1, and I'd not seen it, and I like Jason Segel and Emily Blunt, so I thought I'd give that a go. Next up, a film which I've rewatched recently, and it's a fantastic film, and that is Flight. Denzel Washington, who gives a fantastic performance in this, as well as, I'd say, who else? John Goodman's really good in this, actually. He gives vibes of his character from The Big Lebowski, and obviously it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it's a really good film, so I really wanted to get this on Blu-ray, so I did. Next up is Flash Gordon. I don't really know why I picked this up, because I picked it up full price as well, and when it first came out in, I believe it was July last year, for the 40th anniversary. Very mixed things. Some people who grew up with it love this, and then you've got other people who've only just watched it and think it's dated and not very good, so I don't really know what to expect from this, and I'm hesitant to watch it now. I will get around to it at some point, but I mainly picked it up for the soundtrack, because obviously it's Queen, and I do really enjoy Queen's music. So yeah, Flash Gordon. Next up is Focus, an underrated Will Smith film. I thought his performance in this was really good, as was Margot Robbie's. I think this is obviously her coming off of The Wolf of Wall Street, which is definitely her breakthrough performance, if not her first. And yeah, I like the story in this. It's interesting. Not a lot of people talk about this film, but it is quite a decent watch. Um, yeah, good film, Focus. Next up is my favourite film of all time, which obviously I had to have in my collection, and that's Forrest Gump. Not much I can say about this except for it is pure perfection to me. I love it. I really connect with the story, all of the characters, and just think it's an amazing film. And that's all I can say about that. Next up is a Christmas film again, which I picked up on the cheap, but I never got around to watching last year, and that's Fred Claus, which I remember watching as a kid and enjoying. So I do want to rewatch it again and see if it's as good as I remember it being, because I do enjoy Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. Um, yeah, so I will watch that at some point this Christmas, hopefully. Next up is a blind buy I got for my birthday last year, and that's From Hell. I watched the trailer and enjoyed it. I do quite like Johnny Depp, especially in this era. I'm not a fan of gothic films, which is why when I looked at the synopsis of this, I wasn't too sure, because it sounded a bit gothic-y to me. But the trailer looked good to me, so I bought it, but I have yet to watch it. But yeah, From Hell. Uh, One that's very mixed again, Gemini Man. People seem to either like this or not like it at all, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I like Will Smith in almost all of the stuff he does. He has done some pretty bad films, but I don't think this is one of them. This came out obviously just before the new Bad Boys, so obviously people were expecting a lot from this new Bad Boys, and they should have, because it was brilliant. And this kind of fell flat for a lot of people. Not for me. I enjoyed it. I like the concept. A lot of people thought that this film should have been made in the 90s when the script was made, which goes for a lot of films made nowadays. I recently watched The Little Things, which I think would have probably been better back in the 90s. I don't think the same applies to this, because the technology wasn't there back then. But yeah, this was a good film, Gemini Man, so I did pick this up when it came out last year. One of the best of last year, The Gentleman. Guy Ritchie back on form with his gangster films. A fantastic ensemble cast, fantastic story, and yeah, definitely had to pick that up last year. Uh, Another disaster film that I have fun with, Geostorm. Not a lot of people like this, but I enjoy all disaster films really, as long as they've got a good cast and there's a lot of good special effects, and I think that applies here. It's a throwaway action film, and one that I do enjoy. Next up is the story of James Brown, Get On Up, obviously starring the late great Chadwick Boseman. This was one of the first films outside of the MCU that I saw him in, and I was very impressed. I still haven't seen 42, because I believe that was his proper breakout performance, so I do want to watch that at some point, but this is fantastic and I would highly recommend. Obviously Dan Aykroyd played his uh, manager in this, and if you've seen Blues Brothers, which also has Dan Aykroyd, it also has the real James Brown in, which is just a bit of an interesting fact if you didn't know. You probably did if you've seen both of the films, but yeah, Get On Up. Next up is Ghost, a classic that I have not yet seen, but I will be getting around to it, because I am looking forward to watching it, because I do like the cast and I do like romantic films, and yeah, Ghost, definitely watch that at some point. A cheap one that I bought, The Girl on the Train, which was a pretty good film when I watched it. When I first watched it, I couldn't get through it, but I don't think I understood it much back then when it first came out. So I gave it a rewatch, and I actually thought it was pretty good. I haven't read the book yet, I do own it, but yeah, good film. Emily Blunt, good as usual. And then another cheapie from CX, Girls Trip, a comedy. I like comedies, and I did enjoy this. I thought it was quite funny. It had quite funny moments in it. So I believe this was only £2 when I picked it up, so thought why not. Next up is a Fincher film I've not seen yet, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This is obviously a remake of the Swedish films and stars Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara. I'm a fan of Daniel Craig and I love David Fincher of the films that I've seen from him. I love Fight Club, and what else have I seen? Zodiac was amazing, Gone Girl was amazing, The Social Network was amazing. Yeah, those are the only ones I've seen so far. Well, I did see Mank, but I did not enjoy that film at all. Thought it was so boring. But that was me anyway. But yeah, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I will be watching this soon. Going in Style, which is quite funny. I remember going to see this in the cinema. I just like the cast. Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine and Alan Arkin. I think they work really well together. And yeah, really enjoyed it. So I think this is in Poundland nowadays, but I got this from CEX. So yeah. The Good Liar. I thought this was a really good thriller. Obviously Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen. Got a good twist in it at the end. I personally didn't see coming, but I know others that I know have seen the film did see the twist coming towards the end. But yeah, really enjoyed this. Really good film. Next up we have Gone in 60 Seconds, which was decent. Not one of his best. Don't like the fact that Angelina Jolie is on this front cover because she isn't as big as some of the other characters in the film. She hasn't got as big a role. She's not in it for very much. She's very much a supporting character. Although if you had seen this front cover, you would think that she is a main alongside Nicolas Cage, which she isn't, which throws everything off. But yeah, this was a fun enough film. Not great, but it was fun enough. Next up, The Goonies, which is a classic. I definitely need to get on rewatching this because I do remember I watched this about a year ago and I did enjoy it. I don't think it was the first time I watched it. I probably did watch it when I was younger, but I couldn't really remember what happened in it. But yeah, classic. Have to have that in your collection. The Great Gatsby. I love Baz Luhrmann, so which I have stated in my previous video with Australia. So I had to have this in the collection. I thought it was a really good film. Not his best. Probably his weakest for me that I've seen. But saying that I've only seen the last 3 that he did. So, but yeah, still a good film. Next up is Hacksaw Ridge, which is a great war film, obviously directed by Mel Gibson and starring Andrew Garfield as Desmond Doss, who was a conscientious objector, so he didn't carry any weapons into battle, and he was a medic. Great film, very, very good. If you love war films, you'll love this. It was just a fantastic film. Next up is a comedy that I find very funny. I need to get the other 2. I might get the trilogy because it'll save some space. This is Hangover the Extended Cut. Not much I can say, I've already said. It's great comedy, and a lot of things in this make me laugh out loud, which doesn't happen very much in comedies. It has to be something stupid, and I just love Zach Galifianakis, and I think all of his films, well, I think these films mainly, and Judy, just his performances in them make me laugh so much, and Ken Jeong in these films as Mr. Chow is fantastic. But yeah, Hangover. Next up we have Heat, which is one of the ones in the last video that I mentioned. I was getting delivered and I did watch it the night that I got it, and this is a fantastic film. It is now in my top 10. I don't know, it might be in my top 5 actually, I can't remember. But I just love this film, absolutely love it. It's just fantastic. This is one of the best films ever made in my opinion. A lot of people don't enjoy the third act. They think it falls flat, but it worked for me. And I thought the acting was superb, some of the best I've seen from each of these gentlemen. And yeah, really, really love Heat, and I would just go and watch it if you have it at your hands, if you've got it on Blu-ray or DVD, or if you see it anywhere and you've got the time, watch it. It's an amazing film. Next up is Her with Joaquin Phoenix. I got this in a bundle on the cheap. Not seen it, but I love Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a great actor, and this is the last film that Spike Jonze did. He hasn't done a film since, so and I really enjoy Being John Malkovich, which I believe was his first, maybe not. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to checking this out when I can. Next up, Hitman Agent 47, which was a Poundland pickup. I watched this when it first came out. I've heard it's really bad. I can't really remember much about it, which is probably why I picked it up. More than likely going to get rid of it at some point because I'm not too keen on watching it, and I've heard just terrible things, and from what I remember, I wasn't too keen on it anyway when I did watch it, so we shall see. I may watch that, I may not. Next up, another comedy. I've not seen this all the way through, but what I have seen, I do enjoy. Horrible Bosses. I would like to get the sequel because it's got a better cast, I think, because obviously it's got the addition of Chris Pine and Christoph Waltz, who are both fantastic actors. Christoph Waltz more than Chris Pine, I would say, though. But yeah, Horrible Bosses. Next up, another cheap one that I wanted to get, House with the Clock in its Walls. I remember going to the cinema to see this, and I was sat in the seat, ready for the film to start, and all of a sudden, everything just went off. And I had no idea what was happening, and then 30 minutes later, someone from the cinema walked in and said, the power just went off in every single screen in the cinema, so we're going to have to reboot everything. Sat there for another 15 minutes, so 45 minutes late it was. But the good thing is they did skip the adverts and trailers and just put the film on straight away. But it didn't stop me from enjoying the film. I still really like this film. And I'm looking forward to see what Eli Roth can do with Borderlands, because obviously we have both of these. Well, he's going to be a voice Jack Black, but Kate Blanchett's, I think she's the lead in it. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed that film. Next up, The Hunger Games, which I can't remember much about. I'll have to rewatch these at some point, but they're decent films. And The Hunger Games Catching Fire. I haven't got the other two yet. And we have Instant Family, which is really good. Obviously from Shawn Anders, who directed the first two Daddy's Home films. Mark Wahlberg, really good in this, really funny. Yeah, really good comedy. Next up we have Into the Storm, which is a decent disaster film with Richard Armitage. I can't think of this. I don't think there's anyone else majorly famous in this, but it's still a good disaster film about tornado going through a small town. Yeah, it's decent. Bit similar to Twister, I think. In the Line of Fire, a classic Clint Eastwood film. Obviously John Malkovich as well as the villain. Really good. Remember really enjoying this. So yeah, got that. Another great film from last year, The Invisible Man. This is obviously the extended edition, but I think that is the only edition available on Blu-ray. Yeah, if I'm being honest, whilst I did enjoy this film, I can't say I sat through it all. I went to the cinema. I'm not very good with horror films, which is why I generally don't see any in the cinema. I prefer to watch them in home in my own time. So I did walk out halfway through for 5 minutes because it got a bit too much for me. But what I have seen of it, which is the majority of the film, I really enjoyed and thought was really good. So I will be rewatching this again all the way through without stopping this time, hopefully. But yeah, The Invisible Man. Next up is Jarhead, obviously directed by Sam Mendes. I've seen American Beauty and I've seen Road to Perdition, and I've obviously seen both the Bond films, and I've seen 1917, so this is one that I was missing. I've got one of his others on DVD, Revolutionary Road, which I will watch at some point as well. But yeah, this has my favourite actor, Jake Gyllenhaal, in, so I am very much looking forward to watching this. So yeah, Jarhead. Next up is another one of my favourite films of all time, and that's Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger. This was one of Cameron Crowe's first films, and I would say his best. I do really also enjoy Vanilla Sky, which is also Tom Cruise, but that hasn't got a Blu-ray release, unfortunately. But yeah, I just think this is a great film, and it's got some great lines in it that are very memorable. So yeah, and this is a nice edition as well, 20th anniversary edition. And I believe, I'll quickly open it because we've got a bit of time, not got many left. Obviously, I'm not going to show this, but you do get the digital copy. And you get a nice booklet in this, which is basically just about the making of the film, I believe, from Cameron Crowe. And you also get, obviously, the Blu-ray and the soundtrack, which is very good. So, and I got that for under £5, brand new. So, very happy with that. Sorry, didn't put that away properly then. Just shut it. Bear with me. So yeah, Jerry Maguire. Next up we have Jersey Boys, which obviously is directed by Clint Eastwood. I'm a fan of Clint Eastwood as a director. I think he's a great director. Obviously he's a great actor as well. And I haven't seen this yet, but I managed to pick up cheap. Obviously about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I will watch that soon. Next up is one of my favourites from last year. In fact, it was the first film I went to the cinemas to see last year, and that is Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi. Fantastic, my favourite Taika Waititi film to date, and yeah, just a brilliant film. And then we have Judy. I think this is definitely Renee Zellweger's best performance, and she was definitely deserving of the Oscar. Some people say she wasn't, but I totally think she was. I just was enthralled with her performance when I went to see this in the cinema. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. Her performance for me made the whole film just that much better. I know people complain about the film, but I think because of her performance, I enjoyed it so much more. But yeah, great film. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. I like it. It was fun. And I love the cast. I think it did the original justice, and I think it brought something more to it. And then we also have the sequel to that, The Next Level, which I enjoy just as much as the previous one. Some people don't think this is as good. I personally do. I personally really enjoy it. I think it's just a lot of fun, and I really like the additions of Danny DeVito and Danny Glover. I think this also has Awkwafina in, doesn't it? I believe. I'm not going to look. Yeah, it does. But yeah, really like that. And then we have Jurassic Park, the only Jurassic Park film I've seen. I've still got to see the other two. But I did really enjoy this. Obviously, it's a classic, so yeah, I have to have this. And then I have the next one that I'd watched after it, which is Jurassic World, which was almost as good as the original. I won't put it on the same level, but it was a good return to the series. I haven't got any of the others yet, but I will at some point. And then we have Kelly's Heroes, another great war film with obviously Clint Eastwood. It's got Dom Rickles, Telly Savalas, and Donald Sutherland. Yeah, this is really fun. It's really funny as well. A good mix of comedy and war elements to it. So yeah, I would recommend that, especially if you like Clint Eastwood. Next up, we have The King of Staten Island, an underrated one from last year by Judd Apatow. I really did enjoy this. I thought this was really good. Yeah, I thought Pete Davidson was good, but you're either going to like it or not. It just all depends if you like Pete Davidson or not. I think he's pretty good. This is the only thing I've seen him in, really, I think. Oh no, I did see The Dirt about Motley Crue, and he was good in that. But yeah, good film. Knives Out, one of the best from 2019. Obviously starring the late Christopher Plummer. Among many others. But yeah, this is a great film. Highly recommend watching it. And then a Poundland pickup, The Lady in the Van. This is a nice slip. Might have been the reason I bought it, because I can remember not really thinking much of the film. But I'll give it another go, because I do like Maggie Smith. And as I say, the slip's nice, which was enough for me for £2. But it has everyone's favourite actor, James Corden, in it. So I know a lot of people won't like that. I'm not bothered by him. I don't think he's a good actor, but I'm not. He doesn't bother me in what he's in. Last Christmas, which is a really good Christmas film, with the music of George Michael. It's inspired by, obviously, the title. Yeah, I think it's quite funny as well. Got a good mixture of comedy in that and Christmas stuff. Last Samurai, another great Tom Cruise film. Really enjoyed this. Just think it's a great film. I'm not going to go into much about the plot, but if you like samurai films and Civil War films, I would definitely recommend watching this, because it is fantastic. Next up, we're getting to the end now. The Lego Batman movie. Probably the second best after the first Lego movie. Yeah, really good. Really, really like this film. Yeah, not much else I can say about that. And then we have the Lego Movie 2, the second part, which I got cheap, which is why I've got it, and I've not got the other two yet. I will get the Lego Movie, and I will get the Ninjago Movie. Although this one and the Ninjago Movie critically aren't very good, but I enjoyed them quite a bit for what they were. So yeah. And then another great film from 2019, Le Mans 66. Again, fantastic performance from Christian Bale. What isn't he good in? If there is a film, let me know in the comments below. And Matt Damon. Great film. Really enjoyed that. And then we have Leon, which I haven't seen yet, but I've heard great things about. So yeah, I'll be watching that soon, hopefully. And we have Life, another film that I've heard, but I've heard very mixed things about this. Apparently Ryan Reynolds is only in it for the first 20 minutes, so he shouldn't really be on the front here. But you know what, I got it. Say no more. That's the only reason I've got this film. So, yep. Life of Pi, really good film from Ang Lee. Yeah, really good. The special effects in this were amazing. I imagine it's really good in 3D, but I'm not a 3D person, so I'm never going to know. Last two, we have Little Miss Sunshine, which is a really fun and just a nice film. Yeah. And the final film, my favourite film of 2019, and that's Little Woman, which was a very big surprise for me because I had no interest in seeing this at the cinema. It wasn't until about August last year that I decided I would pick it up on Blu-ray because it was about £4 and I was interested in watching it. And I just love the story. I think it's just such a sweet story. It's just a really enjoyable film to watch and it's really well done. So yeah, that is my third part of my updated Blu-ray collection for 2021. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, let me know and do that by liking the video. Also comment down below if you've seen any of those films and what you think of any of them. If some of those films you don't agree with my opinion on, let me know. I'm always interested to see if I'm completely off on my opinion. But film is subjective, so hey, I like most films nowadays. Yeah, comment down below if you want any if you have any suggestions for any future videos you'd like me to see me make, or just in general any feedback you want to give me. But yeah, until the next video, take it easy. Goodbye.